Hey, good morning. How are you today? It's Dr. Shirley again. Gosh, I think this is our eighth workshop, and been really getting some great feedback from everyone, which is wonderful. I have a real desire to spread the word about natural health, natural healing, and I have a desire to, do my part to be of service, to share the knowledge that I had, and a lot of that has come from, seeing, so many people around the world in my travels that, are not doing well, and I think a lot of places around the world also, handle natural health a whole different way. They handle, working with the body a whole different way. Hey, Angela, how are you? Good morning. Good morning, Robert. Nice to see you. Hey, Sally, nice to see you too. One of my favorite people in the world. And so with this particular, class today, I'm going to be talking a lot about myself, because this is one of the, anxiety and panic is one of the things that actually got me into this business of natural health, many, many years ago. And my background is in natural health. As a lot of you know, I'm a doctor of naturopathy. I have a BS in health and wellness counseling. I'm a certified herbalist, and I taught that class for years, many times, with Sally Leonard here. And, so we've educated a lot of people. I'm a best-selling author, and I only say that this is my book, and I know that it's backwards, but it's called Healthy, Lean, and Sexy at Any Age, and you can actually download this for free. If you want the hard copy, you can buy it. I think it's like $12, but if you've got a Kindle, you can just download the book for free and read it. I'd love to have you do so. So thanks for that. And hey, Liz. So many years ago, anxiety or panic, it really didn't have a name, but the name was called the vapors. Okay, so that was a name probably back maybe in our grandparents' day, and they'd say, oh, mom's not well, she took to bed with the vapors, or auntie's laying down, she took to bed with the vapors. And that's what it was called, because there just was really no name for it at all. And then into the 50s, there really wasn't a name then either, but that's when Valium became invented, and it was kind of like touted as like, wow, and if you've ever taken Valium, what the effect of that can really be. And so anxiety and difficulties like that have been going on for many, many years. And for me, it started when I was quite young, I think in my late 20s. And I just knew that I wasn't right. I was working at the health clubs, and I was always super fit. I taught fitness, I taught aerobics, I managed the clubs, I did corporate wellness. So I've been in health and wellness for many, many years. And my heart rate started going. I just felt this fear and dread inside. And went to my doctor, have all the blood tests and everything. She's like, Shirley, you're fine. And another month would go by, and I'm calling back. I'm like, Dr. Pat, I'm not fine. I don't feel good. I remember talking to the nurse, and she was just like, we can't help you. There's nothing wrong with you. All of your blood work is fine. And is there anything worse than not feeling well and having a doctor tell you that you're fine? So I trotted off to, there was a guy who was a guy that I went to school with, and he had become a physician. And so, I went to see him. I'm like, okay, I'm sure that, Dr. Mike can help me, because he's my age, he'll get me, and he does all the health monitor things. And he says, Shirley, you're one of the healthiest people I know. There's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you want to go see a psychiatrist. I'm like going, alrighty then. So, I'm trying to find the answer to all this. So I trot off to the psychiatrist. I go in, I swear to God, the guy's eating Oreos on his desk. It's an 8:00 appointment night. He's eating Oreos. Goes through the whole thing. He says, you know what, you're really not crazy after all. Maybe you have a severe heart problem, or maybe you have adrenal cancer, right? So you tell someone like is having panic and anxiety that maybe that they're going to have, maybe they have adrenal cancer. Oh my gosh. So of course I got to have the adrenal cancer test. This takes 10 days. So when they call me back and tell me that I'm fine, I'm really, really happy to know that I am fine, and I don't have adrenal cancer. Started to make me mad, because I really didn't like being told that I was okay when I knew my body was so off whack. So by the grace of whoever, and God, or the creator, whatever you want to, call the universe, I ended up in a health food store, and I found this book from a naturopathic doctor, which I didn't even know existed, and who was in my area, in the upstate New York, Rochester area. And, I was fascinated with it. I called him for an appointment. He spent an hour with me, and he started telling me that my B vitamins were depleted, that my magnesium was off, that I needed to start to meditate. And then the more, I embraced this lifestyle, within 90 days, my body was balanced. And then I started thinking like, wow, what if there's answers to this? Is there answers? What if someone has a digestive trouble? What if someone has blood pressure? And so that's how my career was born. But there was a lot of fear, that went on that took me to that point. So I was really, great, for many, many years. So I'll finish up the story after that. But I want to tell you a little bit more about, the body itself. First of all, about 20 to 25% of people experience some sort of panic and anxiety. And some people have no idea what it is. Like you could talk to my boyfriend, Mark, and he really tries. He's like, I don't understand. I don't know what this feels like. And I'm like, well, good, because it's, sometimes you feel like it's close to crazy. It's funny when you have, a bad elbow or a bad belly ache, you know what that is. But when your, mental balance is off, or you're having this panic, you start to question all kinds of things. So the road sometimes, is fraught. So with these 20 to 25% of the people that are, experiencing this panic, some of the things that goes on is our adrenal glands get out of whack. And our adrenal glands are the teeny tiny glands. We have two. They are shaped like a triangle, and they sit as caps on top of the kidneys, so they're in your back area, and they give off your adrenaline, your cortisol, and all of these, kind of hormones that regulate our nervous system. Now, our nervous system is an important thing to have. It's a protector of the body, and our nervous system can get stimulated by many, many things. Now, let's say that you were sound asleep at night, right? And all of a sudden you heard a boom, right? You'd sit up in bed, your heart rate would be up, your adrenaline would flow, and that's your body prepping to be prepared for some kind of emergency. Let's say that you were riding on a subway and you're in Manhattan and you're under the streets, and all of a sudden you smell smoke and the lights go off, and so that sense would be like, oh my gosh, same thing would happen, right? Heart rate would go elevated. We'd start to get into a fight or flight type of a mode. Same thing by touch. If we touch a hot stove, we're automatically on guard. So the nervous system plays a part of being protected, and our nervous system runs throughout our whole body. The brain is considered to be part of the nervous system, of course, go down the spinal cord, but it primarily is there to protect us. But our nervous system can also get overloaded, and if we have too many, I would say, bears in the woods. So let's say you're walking down a trail, and then, you're hiking, it's a sunny day, and you're feeling good, and all of a sudden there's a bear standing there. It'd be like, we're most likely going to flight. But when we have too many bears in our life and too many things that show up all at once, our nervous system can be assaulted, and our adrenal glands can go into what's called adrenal fatigue. And we'll talk about that, and I'll let you know what it is. I want to say hi to a couple of returning people. Hey, David. Hey, I hope I'm saying your name right, Nafisa. And Cindy, it's always a pleasure to see you. You know so much about natural health, and I always appreciate your comments. And Sneed, nice to see you as well, too. So what happens when our nervous system starts going? First of all, our heart rate starts elevating. Sometimes it's not noticeable. Sometimes it thumps, boom, 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 and we can hear it. And this, obviously, can be uncomfortable. Our speech gets rapid, and you can tell by listening to me. I have a rapid speech pattern. My daughter does. A lot of people that have a weak nervous system may. Now, mind you, everyone's got a weak system. I said this the other day. You may have a tough with digestion. You may be prone to arthritic difficulties. Maybe your immune system's weak and you've got a lot of allergies. So as I go through these classes, not everyone is going to resonate with you, but this may resonate with you if you are someone that has a weaker nervous system. So our speech can get more rapid. We tend to have migrating pains, maybe in the back, maybe here, maybe there. And for people that are worriers, they may start to think they have a headache, like, oh, maybe I have a brain tumor, or they got a belly ache, like, oh, maybe I have ovarian cancer. And this is kind of the pattern that can go on, this worry, type of a thing. And my mom was a worrier, oh my goodness, and I'm sure that she had anxiety too. She didn't talk about it too much with me, but she said, Shirley, it's just not natural not to worry. But I think it can stem in the family, really all the way through. We may have difficulties with our memory and not be able to remember things. We may be skittish. We may have a hard time staying focused. So these are some of the things that go on when our nervous system is out of whack. Now, when our adrenal glands get weak, so remember those adrenal glands that are in the back, and they're giving off all this cortisol and all of this adrenaline. When we actually get into what's called an adrenal fatigue, it means that those glands have gotten weakened. So in Chinese medicine and any natural health, our glands, the idea is for them to be at a homeostasis, right? Let's say there's a spot that I used to call it 50, because I used to do this testing on this electronic machine. So 50 was always the balance point. Hey, Jim. Hey, Peter. Hey, Nancy. Nice to have you with us. And so when your body is balanced, it's at a 50. So when things get elevated, whether it's a nervous system or an irritation or a problem with digestion or blood pressure, then these get high, high, high. When things stay high for too long, okay, then it goes into the opposite. It goes into a burnout phase. So we call this too much fire in Chinese medicine. And when things go into a burnout phase, then it's a lack of fire. Okay, and yes, Cindy's right. A worry can cause disease. This kind of a stress, whether we're worried about, well, I'll get into that a little bit more, but whenever we're focusing on things and not in the present moment, whenever we're spending time and really, worry, depression, I learned this in India. I was over there, did like all this Ayurvedic work and yoga training. It was cool. And they talked about that when we're depressed, that we're worried about the past. We're in the past, we're depressed, we're down, we're thinking about what could have been, what might have been, what you didn't do, and all this thing. When we're in an anxiety state, we're worried about the future. Am I going to be okay? Are my finances okay? Is my lover going to stick around? Am I going to be able to, get that next job? Will I have a job? What does old age look like for me? So that's more anxiety, worrying about, the future. So when our adrenals go into a fatigue type of a situation, we actually have a mild depression, kind of a borderline, who cares, why bother, what's the use, just kind of a melancholic feeling. We start to have anxiety and worry. We can have multiple food allergies, and this happened to me last year. I'll share stories like out of the blue. I started having a problem with wheat and bread and sugar and even alcohol. Ooh, that wasn't pretty. You have a lack of energy, both mental and physical. You may find it hard to handle stress, meaning just one more thing is like, you just can't take one more thing and you feel like it's going to push you over the edge. You may have a hard time, being focused and concentrating. You may be tired between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. And it's kind of a time when the animals sleep. If you have, cats or dogs, or cats I think sleep a little more, where even if you were out in the jungle, you'd see that most animals take a break between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. It's just to kind of, and even in Italy, my Mark's in Italy right now. And so shout out to him. But all of the Europeans, they close right down, in the afternoon, 2, 3, 4, and then they open up again at 5. It's like they understand that clock. So we somehow have to push ourselves through, right? We may feel tired at 3 o'clock if we've been overworked, but maybe we have coffee, maybe we, grab a Kit Kat bar, right? Isn't that their marketing? Grab a Kit Kat bar or Snickers or something, you'll be good to go. Not a good idea. But anyway, just notice how your energy is late in the afternoon. You would crave salty foods because our adrenal glands get balanced by potassium and sodium, naturally occurring sodium. You may have pain in your upper back, and you may lack an interest in sex, which is never good because I think sex is a big glue, to the relationship. And, when one partner is off base with that, it can put pressure on the relationship, as well, too. Then we also have emotions that can cause this type of a stress. And, if you're feeling anger, and anger is an elevated emotion, and, we want to take action. These are the people that, you're in the car and someone goes by and, does this, and, or you're in the grocery store and you're like, oh, for gosh sakes, can this clerk please get moving? And, we're just flying off the handle, at a lot of different things. Fear is another emotion that's going to work on our nervous system and really help to break down our body, not help to, but, really be, detrimental in that way. And another strong emotion is guilt. And guilt can be a good thing because it can sometimes be a measurement of maybe we were off our course. We didn't really do the right thing when we could have done the right thing. We had a choice, but we didn't. Sometimes we have unfounded guilt with things we couldn't have helped or didn't do, can't change the past and all that. So a lot of this can come to surface as we start to work on ourselves, and that's not always easy. I did a big deep dive last year, and oh my goodness, it was tough. But as we grow older, as I grow older, I'm choosing to look at those parts of myself that aren't all perfect, and none of us are. And it's this authenticity when we can be comfortable with ourselves. When I was doing some Facebook Lives a couple years ago, it's like, I was putting on these suits and my hair's done, and I'm like, okay, I felt like I needed to present this certain contrived person of maybe who I thought people thought I should be. And now it's just like, this is what I look like today. And I went to yoga this morning, and still got my yoga top on, but I'm just here to share my stuff. I'm not as bothered about what other people think anymore because because I really, really like myself. And that wasn't always the case. And it's taken almost 60 years to get there. So we all have chance. We all have choices. So let's talk about some of the supplements that can support this. This is a multifaceted subject. Our B vitamins are super important. They are water-soluble vitamins, meaning that when we take them in, they get excreted with our urine. So water-soluble vitamins need to be put into your body every single day, okay? They will be dispersed with alcohol. When we drink alcohol, our B vitamins go right out the door. They get burned up under stress, burned up under smoking, as you might imagine. Magnesium, I think, is one of the most important minerals. In fact, I'll probably teach a whole class on it because it has 500 enzymatic functions. But a good magnesium citrate, is going to be wonderful to slow your heart rate, to relax your body, relax your mind. It actually helps with your bowels, can help with blood pressure, can help with your heart rate. It is something that I believe every single body needs. And again, if you drink any alcohol, and I used to drink a lot more, a couple years ago, I drink a lot less now that I've been meditating and yoga and just kind of feel calmer with myself. But when we do drink, then we're going to be losing a lot of these important minerals. And so we can build these things up. Adrenal support, there's a lot of great Chinese formulas that I've used over the years that can actually strengthen the adrenals. There is something called glandulars, and adrenal glandulars. They're bovine in source, so if you're vegetarian, you probably don't want to take them, and that's cool. But they go right to the source, and they're usually grass-fed, and they're usually out of New Zealand for some reason. Apparently, they got stellar cows in New Zealand that are grass-fed, no antibiotics, and all of that. There's a formula I love called Stress J. I kind of used to live on that and Anxiousness, and that had hops and chamomile in it. Still does actually, hops, chamomile, passion flower. So these are your nervine herbs, and these can all help to soothe the body. So, like last year, I was taking a boatload of this stuff because I was trying to balance my body naturally as I had done for, the 25 years before, but then everything shifted. So I now really am understanding that, yes, we can balance our body, but we also need to, balance our mind as well, too. So remember when I talked about, like, all of these bears, right? We have all these bears in the woods. So last year, I had a lot of bears in my life, and I'm sure some of you can relate. Sometimes we have a bad day, and then you say, oh man, that was a week from hell. And then it was like, oh, that was one tough month. And then you get a little older, like, oh my God, that year was crazy. But these are years of transition, and I wouldn't change anything. And we all have these times, but it's how we emerge, and it's the lessons that we learn, and, kind of what we go on to do with what went on. So for me, I had a business that I was working on, and it just ended up just totally falling apart. I lost about 90% of my income, and that's never easy to deal with. As I said, I had this panic attack start rearing up after 25 years, and I don't know if it was change in life kind of stuff. I just think that I was totally out of whack with where I was supposed to be in life. I had these food allergies. My relationship with Mark had shifted, and we had moved into a house and did okay for about a year. We had been together for 12 years, but we'd been living separately the last year. And a lot of that, looking back on that, was me. We like to think it's the other person, but, I actually think a lot of it was me. So then I have an Airbnb home, and so it was always rented. So I'm staying with friends. I was kind of like just trotting around to, thank goodness, all the people that love me. But this was a transition year, and thank goodness for friends and for family. And my sister died too, and it hit me really, really hard. I didn't think that it would, but the grief was astounding to me of how it really racked my body. I could almost tear up talking about it. I wrote a story about it. It's called Too Close to Crazy: Healing on the Mat in Costa Rica. And it's an intimate story, but it's a struggle story, but it also has a very happy ending story. And you can find that. I do a lot of travel writing. You can find that story on talesoftwotravelers.com. talesoftwotravelers.com, and that's a website I use for publishers that want to get at my travel writing. But you can read about that a little bit. But what I found was, through that period of time, is that I knew I had to get back, to myself. So I got back to the meditation. Meditation is going to reduce your cortisol. Now, this is sitting for just 20 minutes. This is not, a religious thing. That this is not, a praying thing, although praying, definitely has the same effects. But it's going to reduce this cortisol that courses through your body that causes all this nuttiness, and it will reduce your blood pressure, help you to sleep more sounder at night, be more centered, increase your immune system response, and it also increases your creativity, as well too. So I'm a big proponent of meditation. I do 20 minutes a day, and I just feel so centered and happy and non-stressed. It's wonderful. As many of you know, I went to India and did this yoga routine, which was totally intense, but it really changed my life. Yoga is not just about the poses, okay? It's just not about the downward dogs and all that. Yoga is a way of life, about the asanas, and I'll talk about some of those too, the niyamas, and just living a good life and a pure life, according to a yogic culture. I'll also talk in another class about alternate nostril breathing and pranayama, and this is learning how to breathe correctly, which is wonderful. And it's not breathing correctly; it's breathing for results, for actually reducing the stress that's going on in your body, for increasing the creativity, for settling your heart and settling your blood pressure. Just an amazing practice. And one of the things that we can do to feel good about ourselves is to celebrate who we are. So many of us have negative self-talk, and I've definitely stopped all of that. And when we spend time talking badly about ourselves and saying, oh, I should, take care of this, or oh, my house should be cleaner, oh, my ass should be smaller. I mean, whatever it is, we all have these things of what we think that we should be. But we can really, if we just be ourselves and be our good, authentic selves, it's more than enough. It just is. It's just learning to be comfortable, with who you are. And, all the green drinks in the world and all the cleansing and all the herbs and all the yoga is not going to be enough if you hate your job, okay? If you get up every morning and you click that alarm clock and you say, oh, crap, this is not a good way to spend your life. Find a way to, move into things that you love and things that are going to give you joy. You're not going to be well and be healthy if you're really bored and unhappy within your relationship, either with a partner or with your friends. And so that's worthy to work on. Most likely we love this person, right? And so it's worthy to work on that and to learn, how we can be better partners ourselves and to be better people. They found that people that don't have enough social and don't have enough friendships are those that are going to die earlier and be the most lonely, overall. Yes, Cindy, you're right. We need to feed ourselves love and kindness and be good to ourselves and be good to our homes and be good to to our partners and remember why we even wanted to be with them. If you don't like where you are in life, you're not going to be healthy. This is really very, very interesting. I personally believe that we all have path and we all have purpose, and that doesn't mean that everybody's going to go out and save the world, or like I say, I'm not going to be the gal that goes and builds a well in Laos, that's going to help people there, but I'm going to do my own thing. And so I think being on purpose and being on track of what makes us feel good is going to do so much to settle our health. And I think that's a lot, really, where, I was personally. And so these panic attacks can be difficult. The nervous system stuff can be difficult, but none of it's unsurmountable. We all have stories that can make you cry. Some years, you just have, I call it like a buffet of crap. I know that's not really eloquent, but I always picture this as buffets. Like, and once in a while, you have to take a few pieces to kind of balance out your life, but then you might have times when you have a lot going on. And so then you become thankful. I'm a big person to be grateful. I think if you incorporate this into your life, you're really going to see how much you have going on. I did an exercise not too long ago. One of the classes I took was like how to be cool. They're talking about like not how to be cool. I should say that. What's cool about you? And you actually write this down and start to think about what's really great about me. What do I like about me? And you'd be amazed. How that feels to celebrate yourself and what you like and who you want to be. And when we are these authentic people, it just feels so much better. Hey, McKenz, how are you? Is my sweetie there? And Roy, nice to have you as well, too. And so we learn a lot as years go on, and hopefully we keep learning because we just don't know what's around the corner, and it gets to be our choice of how we want to live our life. There's always a choice every day. I'm a perpetual optimist, and which some of my family members are think I'm a little bit too happy all the time, because I literally wake up every day. I cannot even believe that it's morning. I get so excited to start the day. And I celebrate a lot, and I'm thankful. And I know you may think those gratitude things are just exercise, but you know what? There's a lot to be grateful for. I mean, I've spent so many months and so many years. I've been in 25 countries in the last 10 years. And there's so much poverty, and there's so much, difficulty, and there's so much struggle, but you wouldn't believe the love and the work and the family ethic and all of these things that make our lives whole. And so we really, again, get to have these choices. And so I wish that for you. I wish you to find balance within your life. I wish you to use the supplements to strengthen your body. We didn't talk about food, but obviously whole food, green food, real food that doesn't have, any junk on it. I'll give a shout out to my daughter because she does really good work. Her website and blog is Mackenzie's Table, and she does all these natural and beautiful desserts. And there's no reason to deprive. We're not, going to eat bad salads and broiled chicken, as she likes to say. And, we're not going to have to deprive ourselves of things. So find things that make you feel good as well, too, and work on your relationships and take your breaths and be thankful for all that you have. And when you find this inner balance, you're going to also find that you have a different piece about you. Add in that meditation into your life. Add in some yoga. Another shout out is Gaia.com, GAIA.com. This is a site that has yoga, and I started with them. So you can do yoga 10 minutes a day or 15. You can just learn some of the ways to do this. It's 99 cents for your first month, so give it a try. When you balance your inner body and your inner being, you're going to have a lot more peace. And so by adding the yoga, the meditation, and good food, you're going to do okay. So I thank you for being here today. Does anyone have any questions? I so appreciate this. I really, really do. I appreciate you being here. If you wouldn't mind putting up a like or something you learned or liked about the video, I'd appreciate that. And it's not for me. I don't need the edification or validation at all. But when other people see the social proof, like, oh, so-and-so liked this, or oh, Roy liked this, Cindy liked this, it helps to spread the word. And that's really, what I'm all about right now, is letting people know that you can be yourself. You can be your authentic self, and you can be okay in doing so. So I hope you have a nice day. Tomorrow's topic is parasites. Yes, indeed. You most likely have parasites. 90% of the people do. They can be teeny like the tip of a pin, or they can be big and long like a 10-foot tapeworm in your belly. Kid you not, okay? So that's what's going on. Cindy, thank you so much. I appreciate you too. Thank you for listening. Janelle, thank you for coming on. Ken's, Roy, Sally, I appreciate all of you. And if there's anything else that you think would be a topic, gosh knows I can talk about just about anything. Have a wonderful day. Blessings to you, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much. Bye now.